RGC Podcast.
Hello, Rio Grande City, and welcome to Lunch Break. I am your host, Melinda Gomez, from the Rio Grande City EDC. And if you have just noticed, I am flying solo today because my co-host, Ms. Becky Rubio, has embarked on a different path to new opportunities in the big city of Dallas. Becky, if you're listening, which you better be, we miss you and we wish you the best of luck. The holiday seasons are just around the corner. First off, the city will be hosting the annual Grito en el Kiosco y Noche del Mercado in our historic downtown Britain Avenue kiosk on Saturday, September 14th. There will be live music, vendors, food, and lucha libre, all in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. Our Rio Grande City Public Library has several events going on this September. Every Wednesday, they will be hosting Autumn Crafts from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Ready, Set, Draw on September 3rd, 10th, and the 24th from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. And Story Time September 17th at 4:30 p.m. For more information, contact the Rio Grande City Public Library at 956-487-4389. Rio Grande City Public Works Department will have their citywide trash drop-off on September 13th and 14th. You must be a resident of Rio Grande City and bring your water bill. For more information, call 956-488-8382. The Rio Grande City Public Utilities Department would like to remind everyone that even though we had some much-needed rain over the weekend, we are still in a drought, and we ask everyone to please continue with water conservation efforts. If you missed it, Mr. Flores, Eric Flores from he's our Public Utilities Director. He was a guest on episode 17. And in that episode, we discussed many ways that we can do our part for water conservation. The Rio Grande City Parks and Recreation Department is getting ready for softball and baseball season. Sign up your kiddos, ages 4 to 16, at the Parks and Recreation Office located at the Lopez de Hedina Courtyard in downtown Rio Grande City. Registration fee is $35. Call 956-487-0672 for more information. And the Rio Grande City Greater Chamber of Commerce will be having a grand opening on September 9th for Rosticeria El Coloso at 10 a.m. Check out their Facebook page for more information. All right, that was a quick recap of what's going on at the city. Next up, we have a returning guest. We have Jessica Cantu from Faro Health and Therapeutics, and she is here to tell us more about a new study going on for Alzheimer's research and the upcoming Alzheimer's Awareness Walk. We'll see you after the break. Thanks for listening to Lunch Break. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our show to your family and friends. Leave us a positive review on Spotify and be sure to check out our previous podcast. This has been a City of Rio Grande City podcast production and is brought to you by the City of Rio Grande City and the Rio Grande City EDC. Join us next time for another edition of Lunch Break. Welcome back. I am here today with our guest, Jessica Cantu from Faro Health and Therapeutics. And she is here again to talk about what's going on at Faro and the Alzheimer's research that they're doing. And welcome, Jessica.
Thank you for having us again. Yes, there's been a few changes since the last time we were here. As we spoke about before, we opened up in November of 21, and our first study was February 22nd, 2022. And since then, we've already participated in 5 studies. 2 of them are called interventional, which means they had drug candidates that they were investigating. The others are observational, and one of them was a blood biomarker study. And one may ask, well, why do we need to participate in these studies? So as some may know, here in Stark County, we were at one point second in the nation with the most dementia cases. So blood biomarkers are very important. the Global Alzheimer's Platform helped us launch our very first study, which was a biohermy study. And the results came out last year, where, we can talk about that a little more later. But all of these studies, you can find them under trials.gov. And if the study has closed, the sponsor will then release their data, and you can view that on the website. But to us, it was so important as an underrepresented population to participate in Alzheimer's research. I personally lost my father to Alzheimer's, so it is now like my passion, my why
Mm-hmm.
I do this every day, right? I feel like if I wasn't able to help my father, maybe I can help others in the community. And being underrepresented, our data, our DNA, our collaboration and information in these research studies is essential, because we can now be part of a solution, not just, the problem that is Alzheimer's disease.
Okay. And just a reminder, and for our listeners and possibly new listeners that we have, how did the how did this come about? Like, how did El Faro Health and Therapeutics, like, what started it all? What how did how did it start?
Yes. I know that the Global Alzheimer's Platform had heard about Stark County and how there are so many cases here in Stark County. There is Dr. Maestre, Gladys Maestre out of UTRGV. They have a site in Harlingen where they're doing research as well with the school. It's called like academia, a type of research. And she was the one that did that study that showed that we had the most cases. So then the Global Alzheimer's Platform heard about us and reached out to Dr. James Falcon, who many know, has served in the U.S. Army for many years. So when he came back home to Stark County, that was when they opened up El Faro Health and Therapeutics. And we just wanted to help the community. We wanted to be that beacon of hope, right? El Faro means a lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say a lighthouse shines light in the darkness. And Alzheimer's is such a dark disease, not only for the patient, but for the family as well. So we want to be that beacon of light, that beacon of hope in Stark County and the surrounding communities. We've been able to reach out to people all the way to Laredo and to Brownsville. And even though there's other sites, we were the first with the interventional drug studies. Well, it's a drug candidate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before you would have to go all the way to San Antonio or Houston to participate in clinical research. And now we're able to provide that here in Stark County. I'm not saying that we're going to have a solution to whatever is your situation, but we will try to help you. We also have the caregiver support group that we host every other Thursday.
Okay. And where do you all have that? At the office or at the clinic?
We have it at the clinic.
Okay.
At El Faro Health and Therapeutics. You can just call us. We'll sign you up. And if you can't be there in person for whatever reason, we can send you a Zoom link. And then you can join on that Zoom link from home. And we have a social worker that talks about, Alzheimer's. And then within themselves, the caregivers talk about their experience and share their experiences with others, which again, it can help others in their situation. We're also hosting the Alzheimer's Association. Maxine, that works with them here in Rio Grande, she will go over and do an educational class once a month. So that we just had one last Thursday. There's one coming up in September.
Okay, that's awesome. For you mentioned that the clinic has already done 5 studies.
Mm-hmm.
You will be starting a new one?
Yes, we're
Correct?
starting 2 new ones.
2 new ones. Okay.
So one of them is called the pre-screener study. So that one, anyone ages 60 to 85 that's already noticing they're having some memory problems, or they're noticing the forgetfulness, things like that, they can call us to see if they qualify, because this study is to help pre-identify, to see if they can participate in new interventional clinical trials coming up. And then the second one has a drug candidate, which is what we call it an interventional drug study, because we would be intervening if you qualify. And that's for ages 55 to 80. And as well, they can just call us to see if they qualify. And I'll share our information at the end, our phone number
Okay.
and all of that.
So, out of the studies, you did mention earlier, we were chit chatting a bit earlier, that several of them are still, uh,
They're still being studied.
yeah, they're still studied. They're not finished, but
Yes.
that one of them has already been done. Can you tell me a little bit about that one?
So that's the one I was telling you about, the BioHermes one. Um, that one, like I said, it was a blood biomarker study. So it was our very, very first study, and we had a lot of Stark County participants join, and you do some like memory testing,
Okay.
and then as well we were able to get biomarkers like from your body. We were able to get blood and specimens to be able to participate in this BioHermes study. So the results, again, they're under clinicaltrials.gov, and the big thing we got out of this was how important it is to participate in biomarkers, because before we weren't able to just tell you just by scoring you in a memory test, okay, yes, you have Alzheimer's, or so with biomarkers they're able to see if you have that gene. I don't know if you heard about the actor from Thor, Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, yes,
So
yes. He had been told that he had, or how did they, I don't know how they worded it, but basically he was predisposed,
yes,
right, for
yes.
Alzheimer's. So I know, I just remember seeing maybe a TikTok that he was kind of bummed out, and
Yes.
so
So he's trying to live life to
yeah.
the fullest and things like that. So these studies, these biomarkers can show if you're predisposed, and then if something were to happen later, you can maybe be eligible for these two new drugs that are now FDA approved.
Mhm.
Leqembi is one of them, and Kisunla is the other one. And they're IV infusions, and of course you would talk to your neurologist to see if you qualify, but these are for early symptomatic Alzheimer's disease. And these studies are showing that we have this protein in the brain called amyloids, and the problem is when this protein starts cluttering, they start getting tangled, and they start getting sticky and building up, and they damage the brain cells. So then the brain cells can no longer communicate with each other.
Okay.
They can no longer tell you how to dress. They can no longer help you with your thinking or problem solving. So, for example, Leqembi, it targets those proteins before they form into plaques and help remove existing amyloid plaques. So these drugs are now, of course, these drugs were studied right
Mhm.
before. And that's what I try to tell folks, that are hesitant about research. I tell them, well, before they could approve Tylenol or Motrin or your blood pressure medication,
Yeah.
they had to
Yeah.
go through research, right?
Mhm.
And yes, it is scary, but how awesome would it be that our DNA, our blood biomarkers are helping, develop these new drugs that are going to help other people going through Alzheimer's or early onset
Yeah.
Alzheimer's.
And you'd be surprised because a lot of this is hereditary.
Yes.
So you're helping you're helping your children or your grandchildren or possibly even your great grandchildren. So yeah, don't hesitate to
Participate.
participate.
Yes, it's a huge thing, because I believe we've been underrepresented for so long that for us, it's just like, no, like it's okay, let them participate. But again, like if I'm able to, and like you said, I can help my son one day or my grandchildren one
Mhm.
day, why not? I already know that I have that, you know, hereditary problem
Mhm.
because of my father. So why not try to help others with this?
Yeah.
And sometimes in our culture, I mean, I'm sure it happens with other, but remember, as Latinos, we're 1.5 times more likely to be affected by Alzheimer's than a white person. So in my case, my maternal grandmother had, a type of dementia. Back then we didn't know, right? We
Yeah.
just knew it was a type of dementia. And then my father had Alzheimer's. So it's like a double, um, from both sides I'm
Hmm.
getting these genes. So it is scary, but at the same time, that's why I'm so persistent in trying to find out what we can do, how we can help, and bring that help here to the valley, well, to Stark County.
And as far as like outreach, how are people open to, participating, or do they understand, or do they, I mean,
Yes, it's very hard. Outreach, as you know,
mhm.
outreach is so important. And we've had these Alzheimer's awareness walks that we started in 2 years ago. This year will be our third year, October 19th. We're doing our third one. And it was the very first Alzheimer's awareness walk in Stark County in Rio Grande. And it's so important to us to get the word out, to let it know it's okay to talk about this taboo subject. Because for many years, we don't talk about what happens in our family, right?
Yeah.
If Tia has cancer, we don't talk about it. We just, you know, say hi and that's it. Alzheimer's was even more taboo. A lot of times people will say, no, well, that person's crazy. And
Hmm.
it's not that they're crazy. Again, it's these amyloid plaques that are forming. They can't help it. They
Yeah.
can't help that they're forming. So I think the more we educate about this problem, the more we educate about this disease, it's getting easier for people to understand and want to participate. We try to go to the health fairs here in town or even in the valley in McAllen Mission. We've even gone to Brownsville to try to educate how important it is. If for whatever reason you can't make it here, now you know that there's sites in San Antonio, there's sites in Houston, the education, the academia in Harlingen. There's other places that can also help you understand more your forgetfulness or your grandparents' problem that they're having. So outreach is very, very, very important. We also want to host a little something before the Alzheimer's Walk for September, which is Hispanic Heritage Month, and World Alzheimer's Day. September 21st is World Alzheimer's
Okay.
Day. So we want to host a little something as well and do a little more outreach and talk to folks about this is what we're doing. We're here. You don't have to come and participate, but you can come and learn. We'd love for you to participate, but if you want to come over and learn and see how you can help other people, feel free to come by, even if it's just to our caregiver support group and just sit there and listen. And anything helps, I think. The more we educate ourselves, the more we can understand the why.
Okay. Um, let's backtrack. These most or the study that you're going to start, the two studies, what is that going to research, or what is that going to target?
So
Like
the same thing.
the same
One of
thing?
them, one of them's a pre-screener. So what that means is, oh, Melinda, thank you for coming by. You want to participate in, future studies? Well,
Uh-huh.
yes, I do. Let me see if you qualify. And we do some memory testing,
Okay.
and then we'll put down, oh, Melinda wants to, participate next time. So next time we have a research study, we can look and say, oh yeah, remember Melinda got this score and she can probably qualify for this
Okay.
or that or the
Yeah.
other, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the second one, that one is an interventional study.
Okay.
That one, they are studying a drug candidate. So that one, you already have to have you have to meet the inclusion and exclusion criteria.
Okay.
And that one's for ages 55 to 80. And if you're already having any forgetfulness, anything like that, feel free to call us and see if you meet the criteria. We're seeing so much. I mean, the younger the younger people,
Uh-huh.
we're having so much problems. Bruce Willis,
Yeah.
he's a little
Well,
older, but
yeah.
still,
Yeah.
personally, we've seen participants as young as 50, 52, 54 already, like really advanced stages of dementia.
I do have a question
Mhm.
for for us ladies, for me, that I'm menopausal. I noticed one of the symptoms is like brain fog.
Mhm.
Would that be something that you all would be able to, in the questionnaire, I guess, like determine, like, well, maybe because one of the symptoms of menopause is you get brain fog, or is it, like, would it fall under, like, well, maybe she, because of the history, maybe she has or predisposed to
To dementia.
dementia,
Um,
like.
yeah. No, no, no. I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah.
So the memory test that we do, the free memory test that we
Uh-huh.
do, will just, the perfect score is a 30. So let's say you score an 18.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's a little worrisome, right? We will then ask you to see your physician, get some
Okay.
lab tests done,
Uh-huh.
because sometimes if you're deficient in vitamin B,
Uh-huh.
or if you're deficient in folate, or if you're deficient in other something as simple as vitamins and minerals, that can also be causing the brain fog
Okay.
or be causing the memory
Yeah.
problems. So I don't want to, you got a score of 18, Melinda, that's it. You have dementia. Like,
Yeah.
you,
There's other steps
yes, there's
to
other steps.
pinpoint it, I guess, or to.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then, we also recommend, of course, a CAT scan of the head. You never know, what if there's something else going on
Hmm.
in your head, in your brain. And I don't want to tell you it's dementia and that's it, that's final.
Yeah.
First, there's other things that can
Okay.
be done, but we can do that free memory test that you can take to your physician
Uh-huh.
and show it to them, or to your neurologist. And then every 6 months, you can compare. If you come back in 6 months and you got a 28, okay, well,
Yeah.
now you know that
It
it
wasn't
wasn't.
that, it was
Yes,
this.
yes. So you try to rule out
Okay.
other stuff
Yeah.
before saying this is it, it's final.
Okay. Oh.
So yeah, I mean, that's what we do there. We also, like I said, give you resources if you don't know resources that are available, like area agency on aging for Medicare patients. If you don't have a provider, they can help you with provider services. They help once in a lifetime, but something as a provider or respite care really does help the patient. Some participants don't know that they can request additional respite hours if they already have provider services.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that they don't know, and even if we don't know it, then we can call. You know what? Let me call Melinda and see if she knows what else. We can call other
Yeah.
resources in the
Uh-huh.
community to try to help our family here in Stark County.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then next I would the walk you mentioned.
Yes.
It is October.
October 19th, we
Okay.
have our third annual Alzheimer's Awareness Walk. We have vendors from, all of Stark County, and we invite the city of San Isidro, the city of La Grulla, the city of Roma, city of Escobares. We invite everyone to come and participate, and it's just a big um, event where we've had a very big turnout these last couple years, and it's so beautiful to see everyone come together and learn about Alzheimer's, and it's in memory to those we've lost already to this
Mm-hmm.
disease, and we've had participants that already have diagnosed with Alzheimer's. They come with their families and they walk. And you don't have to walk if you can't, but if you can, we invite you to walk, um, just to do it in memory of those that we've lost, and in memory of those struggling through it, for the patient and the caregivers, which is, it's very hard for a
Yes,
caregiver.
it's very difficult. I myself have a family history of Alzheimer's, um, and my husband has
Yes,
family, so
I
I feel
know.
bad for my daughter. I'm like, sorry, sorry.
I know.
You're
It's
gonna get double whammy to there. But yeah, it was very difficult. My grandmother, she went through that, so it was a very difficult um, experience. So I know other people are going through the same thing. And I'm so glad that you all are here to provide these resources for our community, because a lot of people don't know that they can reach out.
Yes. Yes. I mean, and that's what I tell, like for the caregiver support group, I even tell them, if you have to bring your husband or your wife or your aunt or grandma that have the disease because you have nobody to care for them, we can, we usually take them into one of the rooms in the back. We play loteria with them. We play cards while they're, in the session listening to the resources available or things like that.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we're not going to turn you away if you have nobody to care for your loved one. You can always come in or join via Zoom, like we said, because via Zoom, you can always, you're going to be able to communicate with whoever's speaking and with whoever's there in the support group, and be able to listen and take away resources and ideas to help care for your loved one.
Okay. Is there anything else you
I don't
feel
think
like?
so. I'll share with you whenever we have our September event. We're excited for that.
Okay.
For Hispanic Heritage Month, as well as World Alzheimer's Day. And then we're there. Our phone number is 956-586-5430. We also have a Facebook page where we try to post the events we're having or things like that, or new data or anything about Alzheimer's and
Okay.
research. And then if you have any questions, we can always help you, guide you in the right direction. But thank you for having me again.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jessica. Thank you so much. This is Jessica Cantu, from El Faro Health and Therapeutics, and she is the adult.
I'm an adult gerontology.
There you go. I was like,
acute care nurse practitioner.
Okay. Yeah, that word.
Gerontology.
Gerontology.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's my certification as a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
And it's a certification that focuses more on the gerontology population, which I'm glad. When I went back to school to get it, I never thought it was because my dad was going to have Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
So it really did help, and it set the foundation to what I'm doing now. So yes, it's a mouthful, but that's my certification.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, listeners, and thank you, Rio Grande City, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
This podcast is an initiative of the City of Rio Grande City and the Rio Grande City EDC. If you would like to know more about certain topics pertaining to the municipality or have an idea for an upcoming podcast, email mgomez@rgc-tv.com or brubio@cityofrgc.com.
RGC Podcast.